Over this last week, I have been studying this Israel Palestine situation. As a psychiatrist, I've been looking at that more from peace, conflict resolution, what could be a sustainable solution, because that is the lens we use all the time. And in many ways, with genetic inherited ties, as well as religiously, Muslims and Jews are quite linked, particularly those Palestinians. They share significant genetic inheritance. So I'm trying to look for conflict resolution points, and despite trying really hard to find some common ground for conflict resolution, the more I look at the situation, it's not in any way equal conflict. The power is highly asymmetric. But more disturbing part is there is deliberate oppression, aggression, and annihilation attempts from one group to the other. In writing or in saying or in manipulation, that's what Israel says to the Western media, that Hamas wants to annihilate us. But in actual doing, Israel is doing that to Palestine and Palestinians. There is a systematic planned killing. They're not collateral damage. So, and that is where what Israel is doing, what once was done to its own people in Holocaust, it is doing that now. It is considering these Palestinians subhuman or inhuman. They're not looking at their lives as human lives at all. There is a propaganda, and that propaganda, the more I have heard their interviews or their justifications, their same lines of propaganda that we don't want collateral damage, we don't want innocent lives to be lost, and some one sentence of some empathy with those lives lost, which is totally fake, and then goes on to our right, we have a right to self-defend. But it is not doing the self-defense. That's the whole point. It has systematically over every year and year against United Nations resolutions, it has taken more and more and more territory. How is that self-defense? You're going in somebody's homes, you're going in somebody's lands, you're taking it step by step by step. Then with each step you're saying, I need to defend this, I need to defend this. And any retaliation is, I'm threatened and attacked. For how long? It's total manipulation. So those rockets being fired from Hamas, they're not doing anything, and I can't make sense of why are they even doing it. Similarly, how I can't make sense of why that these Palestinian citizens walk up to the oppressor and fight or talk in those videos, because a person growing up in the normal environment, a normal safety environment, would run from that. So there is something psychological in these processes of taking that stone, and primarily there is that message that we're going to resist. And that child, when they're walking through, I don't know, in their mind, are they thinking, I don't care if I die or what happens, but they're innocent children. They have these generations, for generations, these people have grown up in trauma. This transgenerational trauma committed by these supporters of peace. This is the time to change that. Time to look at the situation. These are war crimes. International Criminal Commission was made to help Jews for the atrocities that were committed against them. But right now, Israel is committing them onto other people, and that same ICC is investigating Israel. Human Rights Watch has issued this recent warning of apartheid and other human rights violations. Other pattern that Israel does for its own people's manipulation is any argument that is contrary to your own, any criticism is just because they hate you, they don't want you to survive, they don't want you to live. That is not true. And we need peace now. They could get ceasefire right away. Russia has mentioned that through their channel. Hamas has mentioned they're ready for ceasefire any second, but Israel is saying, I'm going to crush them for sustained peace. What kind of argument is that? They don't want peace. They want to crush, annihilate, erase Palestinian people. So please look at the facts, speak up, talk to other people, raise awareness, share the message, reach out to your congressman or congresswoman or any other channel any other authority. The world needs to speak up. That was the message that Jews wanted the world to speak up at their Holocaust, but right now, unfortunately, they're committing this to other people. Now, the other disturbing fact I found was Israel, this conflict or this oppression of Palestinian people is inside, but there is a larger pattern that Israel is also supporting other oppressive regimes, including the ones that have committed genocide. Most recent one is Myanmar. Myanmar committed genocide of Rohingya people, and Israel had provided them military support and weapons sale. Israel had also provided military support and training to Indian army as they're committing genocide of Kashmiri people. Also, read Eitay Mack and his work. He's a prominent Israeli human rights lawyer, and he has petitioned in Israeli courts multiple times, but of course hasn't won, but has been successful in making these statements and bringing the truth out. Israel also supported militarily Rwandan genocide. It had supported South African apartheid regime. It has supported several oppressive regimes in Central America. So there is this pattern of violence. It is training other oppressive regimes and saying, this is how you do it. And then it's all about branding and rebranding in the message into we are the peace supporters, and use these words like Islamic terrorists, and then keep doing what you're doing, and that's how they're training. But is that really making this world a safer place? Can our world take another war, and if it becomes nuclear? Can we really take that? With climate change, warming, all of these major events happening, the whole earth is going to extinguish if we go this route. This powerful nuclear nation is committing these horrible war crimes in Israel and outside. And that's where, as a psychiatrist, I can't look at that situation and it's like, all right, we need to look at the good people on both sides and resolve conflict. This is the time of accountability. These are war crimes. The trauma committed by the perpetrator, there has to be justice. That never again, and United Nations and all of those things in the world were made to prevent these things from happening. And now we need to take action. Thank you. Do your part.